With 2025 almost here, I thought it would be fun to check out the top 10 games that I beat in 2024. The games on this list are only games that I finished all the way through to the end credits. So although I may have played some better games than what are on this list, they won't be on here if I didn't beat them yet. I also didn't include any games that are newer generation, so sorry Echoes of Wisdom, you won't be on this list. I'd also love to hear what games are on your top games beat in 2024 list in the comments. With that said, let's check them out. Number 10, Cruisin World, Nintendo 64. Coming in at number 10 is Cruisin World. This is a game I grew up playing and have beat many times in the past. It would probably be higher on this list if I didn't already beat it so many times before. This will always be one of my go-to racing games. A big part of the reason I favor this game so much is nostalgia, but it also has a lot going for it. One of those things is the smooth drifting controls which make you feel like an expert driver. And I love games that end with a cool surprise. At the end of Cruisin World, you take off in a rocket ship and unlock a new track on the moon. Those are some of the reasons this game makes it to number 10 on my list. Number 9, Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES. Here's a game I used to beat every single year. This is the game responsible for me being a collector today. Super Mario Bros. 3 is a perfect game. The graphics, gameplay, and replayability are top notch. This game would surely rank number 1 on my top 10 games beat in 2024 list if I hadn't beat it countless times in the past. Super Mario Bros. 3 is a masterpiece. Number 8, Bucky OHare, Nintendo NES. Yet another game I've beat in the past, but this was only my second playthrough of the game. Bucky OHare is a very challenging game, but it also has unlimited continues. Even with the unlimited continues, it can still be quite a challenge to beat the game. When you do beat it, you have a great sense of accomplishment, which is why it lands in spot number 8 on my list. Number 7, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Nintendo 64. Don't worry, not all the games on this list are ones I've beat in the past, but Ocarina of Time is another one of them that I have beat multiple times before. Not much to say here, every Zelda fan knows how excellent of a game this is. This is also a game that would have landed higher on the list if it still had the same magic as the first time I beat it. Number 6, 1080 Avalanche, Nintendo Gamecube. Finally a game I've never beat before. This one I actually just beat for the first time today. I grew up playing 1080 on the N64, but I never had a GameCube growing up, so I skipped over this one. But 1080 Avalanche is a blast as well. It has multiple ways to play the game, such as gate races, time trials, and match races. You can also earn trophies and collect coins to unlock special characters and boards. Finally, it holds up to its name. The last stage before beating the game is running from an actual avalanche, which gets your adrenaline pumping. And for that, this game avalanched right into the number 6 spot on this list. Number 5, Duck Dodgers starring Daffy Duck, Nintendo 64. This is another first time game for me. I've played this game in the past, but never beat it. Duck Dodgers is a game I had on my backlist for a really long time, and I finally sat down this year for a full playthrough of it. It definitely didn't disappoint. Number 4, Little Samson, Nintendo NES. This is a game I've beat before, but only on easy mode. This year, I beat it on the normal mode. This is another masterpiece game. The music, graphics, and gameplay are all excellent, and I will come back and play this game again and again. Number 3, World 2, Nintendo Famicom. Yet another game I beat before, but it was years ago and I forgot how great of a game it was. World 2 never released in the US. It's a parody compilation of a bunch of Konami games with heavy Castlevania references. You can swap characters, it has excellent controls and graphics, and it's an absolute shame this game didn't get a US release. Number 2, Time Diver Eon Man, Nintendo NES. If you saw my last video, you know I just discovered this game. It's an unreleased Taito game that was fully finished. So much so, it had an actual review of it in Nintendo Power magazine. However, the game was cancelled at the last minute. The ROM ended up getting dumped, and you can find a reproduction of the game on eBay. I like this one so much, I beat it twice in one day. Before we get to number 1 on my list, I do have a couple honorable mentions. First one being River King, Nintendo DS. The River King is a game I beat a few times in the past. It's an RPG where you have to catch a fish called the River King to wake up your sister that's been stuck in a deep slumber. There are lots of things to collect in the game, and it feels very rewarding. I don't think this game is for everyone because it takes a lot of time and patience, and it can get repetitive. However, this is my 4th time beating the game, so I guess it's a game for me and one that's worth mentioning. One more honorable mention before we get to game number 1, it's Super Dodgeball, Nintendo NES. This game was number 10 on my list until I beat 1080 Avalanche today, which kicked it off the list. Super Dodgeball is just plain fun. A lot of these River City Ransom sports games released in Japan, but we missed out on most of them. At least we got Super Dodgeball. It's a great game. Finally, game number 1 of top 10 games beat this year. It's NCAA Football 2004 for the Nintendo Gamecube. Man, this game is so great. I just love sports games. Okay, I actually enjoy that game, but that's not the number 1 game on my list. Game number 1 is Earthbound for the Super Nintendo. For an RPG to take the number 1 spot on this list is a true statement. I'm not big into RPGs, but I do get really into them from time to time. Earthbound was one of those games. It sucked me in from the very beginning. I had a blast playing the game all the way through, and the ending to me was just a 10 out of 10. Before I ever played the game, I didn't know why people raved over it so much. But Earthbound is not an overrated game. It deserves all the praise it gets. That's why it earns the number 1 spot on my top 10 games beat in 2024. Again, I'd love to hear about some of the games that are your favorite that you beat in 2024. Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Until next time, I'm Gamer Wayne, and thanks for watching.